Alright, hello and good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. You're just right in time for Hope TV Newswatch with me, Theo Macharia. And tonight we'll be informing you quite a lot of stories lined up for you, including an update on why the European Union has eased its target to completely phase out new petrol and diesel cars by 2035. You don't want to miss that update among many other more stories. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Boniface Mureithi. And we begin right here at home. And the number of Kenyans supporting the broad-based government has doubled in 6 months. A new survey by TIFA has revealed. According to a TIFA survey, support for the government has risen to 44%, while its opposition has declined to 48%. The TIFA report published today shows that 68% of Kenyans feel the nation is not doing well and is heading in the wrong direction, while 17% believe Kenya is doing fine. About 67% say their daily incomes have decreased significantly, while 15% report that their incomes have increased. The survey further indicates that 44% of Kenyans feel that a poor economy is currently the nation's main problem, and 23% cite rising taxes as the main issue. 20% point to corruption, and 3% believe that poor politics is the key challenge at the moment. The survey also revealed mixed views from Kenyans regarding the Social Health Authority, also known as SHA, with 38% expressing satisfaction, 29% saying they were very satisfied with SHA, and 35% relatively satisfied, and 37% reported some level of dissatisfaction. Supreme Court Judge Justice Mohammed Ibrahim Kiadar has been laid to rest this Thursday at Nairobi's Kariokor Muslim Cemetery in line with Islamic traditions. Justice Mohammed died on Wednesday at a Nairobi hospital just a few days after returning from India, where he had been undergoing treatment, and few days before his retirement on January the 1st, 2026. He has been eulogized for his efforts in fighting for multi-party democracy in the late 90s and his intolerance to corruption. He will be remembered for being the first advocate from the Kenyan Somali community to be admitted to the bar in 1982. Here is that report.
Born on 1st January 1956, the late former Supreme Court Judge Justice Ibrahim Mohammed has been laid to rest at the Kariokor Muslim Cemetery in line with Muslim customs, aged 69. After battling prolonged illness, Justice Ibrahim passed away Wednesday this week, joining the long list of prominent persons who have lost their lives in the year 2025. Judge Ibrahim was laid to rest in the presence of fellow Supreme Court Justices William Uko and Smoking Wanjala, together with other close friends and family, although Chief Justice Martha Koome and Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu were missing. Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga was also present, and he eulogized him as a diligent mind who was principled.
He was one of those judges who was diligent in his work. As Mr. Kisi has said, and I can confirm and I can say that without any fear of contradiction, Justice Ibrahim was one man who never tolerated anything to do with corruption.
Former Attorney General Justin Muturi mourned his late classmate as a person who was committed to championing for humanity.
Among the most outstanding things about Judge Mohammed Ibrahim is his commitment to the values of dignity, values of human rights. Some of which saw him in his early days as a practitioner get into trouble with the government of the day.
Ibrahim had an outstanding career of 22 years in the judiciary and served as the chairperson for the Judiciary Committee on Elections, making history becoming the first advocate from the Kenyan Somali community to be admitted to the bar in 1982. He was expected to retire as a Supreme Court Justice on January 1, 2026, after attaining the minimum retirement age of 70 years, but will be remembered for his efforts in the fight for multi-party democracy in the late 90s. For Newswatch, my name is Jacob Ochiro.
Right, our sincerest condolences to the entire family of Justice Mohammed Ibrahim. And thank you so much, Jacob, for that comprehensive report. I beg your pardon. Let's take this one, where over 4,536 homeowners at the Mukuru Bomayangu Affordable Housing Program have received their keys and moved into their new houses. The head of state issued keys to the new owners under phase 2 of the scheme. The studio units are the second lot of the 1,080 houses whose first owners moved in May this year. Earlier on, Ruto challenged opposition leaders to clearly spell out their alternative policies and development agendas to Kenyans, dismissing claims that his administration has abandoned the bottom-up economic model. Let's listen in.
Unajua tuko na watu wanaongea maneno mingi. Sijui Ruto amewacha bottom up, sijui ameenda sijui Singapore. Mimi nataka niwaambie, this is a continuation. We are lifting everybody from the bottom so that together we can charge forward into economic freedom and a first world country. And that is why we have a comprehensive plan on how to take Kenya forward. Tunaelewana jameni? Na mimi nawataka niwaulize wale viongozi wengine, kama mko na mpango tofauti, kama mko na sera tofauti, kama mko na agenda tofauti, elezeni Wakenya hawa. Wakenya ni watu wako na akili, watajua nani anaelewa, nani anaelewi. Watajua gani inawezekana, gani haiwezekani. Ama namna gani? Tuko pamoja? Ile mpango yao wanaturingia nayo. Ati ni vile ya kugawa a non-existent government. Ati wewe utachukua 40%, wewe utachukua 50%, wewe. Now, friends, if the only plan you are walking around with is how to share a non-existent government, I don't know, 40% to this character, 20% to that character. Kwani nyinyi mnafikiri sisi ni wajinga kiasi gani? Ati serikali ni yenu, watu mmeketi chini kwa hoteli watu 10. Ati mtagawa serikali. Na sisi mamilioni hawa, serikali yetu iko wapi? Ajeni.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi has told off Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, terming his recent critics as baseless and uninformed. Mbadi has, however, insisted that President William Ruto's Singapore dream is valid and will be a reality in no time, as the government has laid down plans to realize it. The ministry has equally pledged to review and consider the recommendations of the report from the National Student Budget Forum, with the CS insisting it will greatly inform the 2026-27 budget-making process.
Let me be clear about this dream. And it is not a dream. It is a commitment that we are going that direction. Why? We are starting a national infrastructure fund. And this National Infrastructure Fund is going to get the initial capitation from the proceeds of privatization and divestiture. We are targeting about 600 billion shillings. Already we have identified over 300 billion shillings from KPC and divestiture of Safaricom alone. That will give us close to 350 or at minimum 300 maybe and 20 billion shillings. Then we will have to look for other sourcing of the rest of the amount. But we are not waiting. The moment we get these resources, we start the process. Today, I was having business somewhere, and you strike some gold. The prices of shares in that area will just go up because there is anticipation. So that is exactly what happened to Safaricom in 2021 when there was the announcement that we were expanding to Ethiopia. So the prices went up. When the market didn't respond as investors thought, the prices came down. That is how capital markets respond and react. And you get a politician who does not even take his time to engage his brain properly in how capital markets work. Then it was 45 shillings in 20. So why is it 28 today? He's not explaining to you that because his mind is stuck like a gramophone in some kind of political discourse that doesn't really help much. But Kumbe is a liberal.
From Nairobi now to Kajiado County, 4 people, a boda rider and his 3 passengers died on the spot in Kajiado town. That is after being hit by a lorry in an accident that occurred early Thursday morning along the Namanga Highway. Eyewitnesses say the 4 who were riding on a motorcycle collided head-on with the lorry which was heading towards Kajiado town. The driver of the lorry fled the scene after the accident. Police have since removed the bodies and taken them to the Kajiado Referral Hospital mortuary, where they are awaiting post-mortem examinations as investigations into the accident continue.
Tumepata ajali mbaya ambayo lori imehusika na ajali, ikawa imegonga pikipiki, kaua watu 4 hapo. Mmoja wao ni namuita babangu mdogo. Kwa hivyo kwa kweli mioyo yetu tuna machungu, tuna masikitiko. Tumepatwa na mambo haya kwa ghafla sana.
Na tuko na pigo, tunasikitika sana kama sekta ya pikipiki kwa kupoteza ndugu yetu mmoja ambaye ni memba wetu jana usiku. Ningependa tu kuhamasisha ama kusihi watu wetu wa pikipiki haswa hii wakati wa festive season. Ajali tunashuhudia ni mingi sana zinatendeka, lakini mimi ningeomba ya kwamba tuwe waangalifu barabarani. Ningeomba kwamba tufuate tu sheria, tuende tu polepole. Utafika tu, enda polepole, beba wale wateja ambao wanahitajika kwa pikipiki. Usi overload, kwa sababu wakati mwingine hiyo pia inasaidia ama inachangia kukosa balance.
From Kajiado to Narok now, matatu operators in Narok County have raised concerns over what they term as excessive and disruptive inspections by the National Transport and Safety Authority (NTSA) along major highways as the festive season begins. The operators say the intensified checks are inconveniencing motorists and threatening their livelihoods during one of the busiest travel periods. Drivers plying routes such as the Narok, Mai Mahiu, Nairobi and Narok Bomet highways staged protests, accusing NTSA of mounting obstructive road inspections that caused long delays. Narok Lions Sacco Director Andrew Mwangi criticized the introduction of mobile courts, describing them as punitive and likely to open avenues for harassment by traffic police. Let's listen in.
Kama ni kushikwa, unashikwa, unapelekwa kotini. Lakini hawa wa barabara tunajua hata sio koti hii, kwa barabara si koti. Hii ni unyanyasaji, kwa sababu kama watakuambia uende kando uwapatie kitu kidogo, sio ni corruption.
Sasa wakileta koti kwa barabara wanatatiza abiria, madereva, wanatatiza kila shughuli.
Ni charging, unaandikiwa, unaenda kotini, unaenda kulipia huko, lakini si kwa barabara. Hiyo tunakataa. Sheria wakisha panga waje wanatuisha na sisi tunachangia, hawatuiti. Wanaingia kwa room yao wanatengeneza.
And the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Teachers has faulted TSE for failing to implement directives issued by President William Ruto 3 months ago, that is on the promotion of over 50,000 teachers and employment of 20,000 interns. Kupet now says TSE has shortchanged them and failed to seek funding requests to Parliament and Treasury for promotion of the extra 25,000 teachers as promised in September. While meeting over 10,000 teachers in State House, Kupet further demanded for clarity on the issue of reduction of the 2025-2029 CBA from 4 to 2 years and the allocation of 20% of affordable houses to teachers.
The union is concerned by the slow pace of action on all the other issues. In particular, we were shocked that the Teachers Service Commission had not made any funding request to Parliament for the promotion of 25,000 more teachers during the upcoming supplementary budget, which is due by the end of January 2026. We were also concerned by the Commission's failure to convene the technical committee charged with reviewing the job description for teachers, which is a precondition for the review of the career progression guidelines. The committee, whose Kupet representative is Mr. Paul Maingi, has not met for more than 5 months since its formation.
Yule PS wa housing Bwana Hinga kwa notice kubwa kwamba aliambiwa na rais kwamba walimu watapewa 20% ya zile manyumba ambazo zinajengwa, na paka wa leo tumemwandikia barua, hajaweza kutupatia majibu. Kwa hivyo tunampatia notisi kwamba ifikapo tarehe 1 mwezi wa Januari awe tayari ametuita kusungumzia hili jambo, sababu ilikuwa ni presidential directive na hawezi kulala kwa kazi yake, wakati yeye mwenyewe alikuwa pale na akasimamishwa, akaambiwa kwamba walimu waweze kupata 20% kwa yale manyumba inajengwa. Tunataka tukae na yeye tujue ni majumba mangapi imejengwa kwa region ya Western, kwa region ya Coast, na vipi tutaanza kuallocate walimu majumba zao.
And on that note, we take our first short breather. We are coming up on the other side with more stories. Keep it Hope TV. This is Hope TV's Newswatch. See you on the other side.
There's a world out there searching for hope, and you can help bring it home. By becoming a friend of Hope, you're helping us share the love of Jesus through Hope FM and Hope TV. With a donation of any amount, join hands with us to bring hope and point souls to the transforming power of Jesus Christ. Become a friend of Hope today by making your donation through the M-Pesa paybill number 933933, account FOH. For more information on how to become a friend of Hope, call 0116-212-723 or email customerexperience@hopefm.org or visit www.hopemediakenya.org. Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Hi everyone, my name is George Gishoro, a presenter with Hope TV. Thank you so very much for continuing to support us by watching all our programs. Now, we would love to serve you even better. Now, we want to know where you are watching us from and the strength of the signal. You can scan the QR code and ensure that you answer all the questions in ensuring that you are getting us loud and clear with crystal pictures. So, go ahead and fill in the QR code so that we can serve you better right here at Hope TV, where you look and live.
The attitude. Yeah. Because if you as a man, you're insecure, if you start becoming insecure, if you as a man start feeling threatened, you enter into competition with your wife.
That's the danger.
It's going to go south very fast. The moment you start seeing your partner as a competitor, it changes your relationship. Because now she's no longer a collaborator. You're not seeing her as a helper. You're seeing her as a competitor. And unfortunately, in this life, I normally tell people you have to find your lane stick to your lane, run your race. Yes. Right? Because it doesn't mean that because she's earning more than you, it doesn't mean that you're not blessed. Yeah. Right? It doesn't mean that God is not blessing you. No. You know, it's just that your lanes are different. Yeah. Different professions also demand, will attract different remunerations, financial rewards, and that kind of stuff. So it doesn't mean I can be doing very well in my profession, maybe in my career. I can actually I may even be at the top of my company. And my wife also, she's also doing well, but she's still earning more than I do.
Yes. Catch past episodes on our YouTube channel at Hope TV Kenya. Men on Record, every Friday at 7 p.m.
All right, welcome back and many thanks for sticking with us and choosing Hope TV to inform you with the latest. And now we cross over all the way to Naivasha in Nakuru County, where a Naivasha court has given the Director of Public Prosecutions 2 months to release a file in which 73-year-old Francis Moya is facing 5 counts of conspiracy to murder, including plans to kill his estranged wife and their 4 children, in order to take a prime plot in Molo Town. Prosecutors allege that between March and May 2024, Moya, together with his daughter and her fiancé, all in the US and also wanted in regard to the case, hired hitmen at a cost of, listen to this, more than 3 million shillings to carry out the killings. The victim's lawyer Theo Macharia, however, accused the prosecution of using delaying tactics to stall the case that has continued to attract public attention. Naivasha Chief Magistrate Abdul Kadir Ramathan has now set February 18th, 2026 as the deadline for the DPP to issue directions, warning that the court may allow for private prosecutions if further delays persist.
So we mentioned the matter on 18th of February. I have taken into consideration everything you have said. I have not put on record that which I said earlier.
We have gotten to that point now, where the file has gotten to hearing and still getting submission from the prosecution that the file is still pending before it's effective. We are willing to grant them a last opportunity.
I know the people are not here. You wanted a warrant of arrest for, but I would think also if the DPP is looking at them together, I think they're being looked at together. Let's just record. Accused persons are absent. In light of the sentiments raised in.
Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking International Minorities' Rights Day with a high-level forum held at State House for the very first time. The event brought together government officials, diplomats, civil society groups, and representatives of minority communities to reflect on inclusion, equality, and access to opportunities. The president used the occasion to reaffirm the government's commitment to protecting minority rights and promoting social justice.
International Minority Rights Day, observed annually, highlights the need to protect the rights of ethnic, religious, and linguistic minorities. At State House, the government emphasized that inclusion is not just a moral obligation but a constitutional requirement. While marking the day at State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto said Kenya's development agenda must deliberately include minority and marginalized groups, noting that no community should be left behind in national progress.
Today, I am pleased to announce that the Cabinet has approved the National Policy on Ethnic Minorities, Indigenous, and Marginalized Communities. I will shortly launch this transformative blueprint which provides a comprehensive roadmap for the full realization of Article 56 of the Constitution of Kenya.
During the forum, the President announced key policy measures and resolutions aimed to strengthening minority rights. These include enhanced implementation of affirmative action programs, increased funding for education and healthcare in marginalized areas, and stronger legal protection against discrimination.
Very few people understand what minorities, the marginalized, and indigenous people undergo when they do not have sufficient recognition. I am very proud that today, that office that I occupied is today occupied by a very capable, professional leader who also comes from a minority group in Mount Kenya.
Gender CS Anna Cheptumo, who hails from the marginalized community, emphasized the government's commitment to better the lives of the marginalized communities in Kenya.
It is due to your leadership, Your Excellency, that Kenya has for the first time in its history a policy dedicated to ethnic minorities and marginalized communities. This is no mean feat, Your Excellency. I say this because while the Constitution of Kenya was promulgated in the year 2010, and whereas it recognized the minority and marginalized communities as special interest group, other special interest groups have made strides, and while the welfare of this group did not move from 2010 to date. Your Excellency, this policy is not just a document. It represents the voices, experiences, and aspirations of communities across Kenya. It reflects extensive public participation forums held across countries with over 90 memoranda submitted by minority and marginalized communities.
As Kenya marks International Minority Rights Day, the government says the resolutions made will strengthen unity, protect diversity, and promote equal opportunities for all citizens. Reporting for Newswatch, my name is Glory Nkatha.
All right, and that report by Glory Nkatha ushers us into the business news, and let's get it. The European Union has eased its target to completely phase out new petrol and diesel cars by 2035. Under the revised plan, 90% of vehicles sold from that year onwards must be zero emission, down from the previous 100% goal. Automakers, particularly in Germany, argue that consumer demand for electric vehicles remains low and strict enforcement could result in substantial fines. The remaining 10% of vehicles could still include petrol, diesel or hybrid models, provided manufacturers compensate for emissions with cleaner fuel alternatives. Critics on the other side caution that these adjustments may slow Europe's transition to electric mobility and reduce the region's competitiveness on the global stage. All right, and now it's time for us to play. We start with Ryan Check. He scored a stunning goal as Manchester City beat Brentford to reach the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. City will now face holders Newcastle United in a two-legged semi-final. Newcastle also booked their place after teenager Lewis Mealy scored a late winner in a 2-1 victory over Fulham at St James Park. In the other hand, semi-final, Chelsea will face either Arsenal or Crystal Palace, with that quarter-final set to be played later this month. The Carabao Cup semi-final first legs will be played in mid-January, with the return matches scheduled for early February. Still in Matter Sports, Inter Miami striker Luis Suarez has signed a new one-year contract that will keep him at the Major League Soccer club until the 2026 season. Suarez scored 17 goals and provided 17 assists in 2025 as Miami won the MLS Cup for the first time in the club's history. The former Uruguay international, who turns 39 next month, joined Miami in 2024 and reunited with former Barcelona teammates including Lionel Messi. Suarez now stays on alongside Messi, who is contracted until 2028 as Inter Miami continues to strengthen their squad. Alright, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, we've come to the close of tonight's edition of Hope TV's Newswatch with me, Theo Macharia, and on the sign language interpretation desk was Boniface Mureithi. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind. We do this again, same time, same place. When God says we do so, good night and have a lovely weekend ahead.